Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning, October 14th, I think. So I have several things I'm going to hit here, so I will talk fast. One is I feel like something is about ready to happen, only because when I came home last night and I was watching TV, there was this excitement inside of me that I could not explain. And I kept hearing myself say, I'm so excited, I'm so excited. And I'm like, why? I don't know. Maybe my soul knows something is getting ready to happen. The Phil Godlewski guy and Simon Parkes both mentioned in the last week about Q phones. So I'm going to talk about those. I really know nothing about them other than a post that Simon Parkes came out on Telegram yesterday, and I'm going to read that. I will say, I know a lot of you guys probably already know this. You know more about this than I do. If you want to post in the comments, that's great, because this is kind of a learning channel. I learn a lot of stuff from you guys. So I claim to know nothing other than what I hear. All right, Q phones are coming, and this was posted on Simon Parkes' channel from Telegram, and he posted it from another technology channel from Telegram. It says Q phones are already developed and manufactured in Germany, United Kingdom, with final upgrades in the US. This smartphone is three-dimensional and of the highest quality. It will become one of the main tools for direct credit and expenditures in daily life for consumer retail and business commerce, domestically and internationally. This is a $500 billion manufacturing operation in 3 countries. Cost may increase as 7 billion Q phones will be dispersed to all people on Earth. The QFS will create its own internet that will work off its trinary code and perhaps a G8 network for SATCOM. Some of those I do not know what that means. I know I've heard about Starlink. I have not dug into that. I don't know exactly what Starlink is. If anybody has any comments they wanted to say about Starlink, please educate all of us. I only have so many hours in the day to watch stuff, and there's a lot of stuff coming out right now. So I do not know what that means for me because I'm an Android user. So I have never been an iPhone person. Also, one of the things that Phil Godlewski said in his rapid fire thing was someone asked him if Steve Jobs was still alive, and he said yes. So perhaps Steve Jobs has been working behind the scenes, working on these Q phones. I would also not be surprised if this is something that is being done off planet, like the video I did a couple of weeks ago where I ended up taking the little tour to Mars from my guide. Anyway, so that's one thing I want to talk about. The other one is, and you can make fun of me if you want, but I'm going to hold this up here and see if you guys can see it. I got one of those little coins off a Telegram that they were talking about. All you had to do was pay for shipping. And I have looked at that and not done anything, looked at that and not done anything. And I even sent a message to a friend of mine one day, and I said, what do you think about those Mr. T coins that they are promoting on Telegram? And she goes, I think it's probably a scam. Well, maybe it is, but this is what I'm going to tell you. Something in my gut kept telling me I needed to get one of those. I don't know why. Other than I feel like there is something special about those that we don't know about. I don't think they were claiming for it to be anything special other than I think they said it would go up after Mr. T came back into office. I don't even remember what their claim to fame was and what they said about it. But every time I would look at that, my feeling was there's something special about this coin. And people that would buy it would definitely be Mr. T supporters or White Hat supporters. and that we would be rewarded in the future. That is the feeling that I get. We will be rewarded in the future for those of us who get these. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were made of something that is very valuable that starts with a S, silver. I mean, I shouldn't say I keep hearing silver is more valuable than gold, and silver is more scarce, and Deep State has pretended like it's cheap and there's nothing special about it. But I've heard from other sources that silver is more valuable than gold, and they just didn't want us to know about it. And that eventually silver is going to skyrocket like crazy. So it would not surprise me if this was actually made of something very valuable, and those of us who supported him along this long journey might be rewarded for that somehow. So that's just a thought. Again, my intuition kept telling me there was something valuable or important about that. Don't know what. You can laugh at me if you want. I don't care. I also, while I'm thinking about it, there's a channel that I watch. It's about an abandoned silver mine in Cerro Gordo, California. And before I knew silver was supposedly gonna skyrocket in the future, every time I would watch that channel, he would be talking about, it's an old abandoned silver mine. I mean, the buildings are falling apart. He bought it. He lives there by himself. He's trying to revamp it and everything. And he was always going around in silver mines looking for old Levi's and different things that the miners used. And when I would watch that, I was always like, oh my God, does he know what he's sitting on? Does he literally know that he has lots of money in silver coming in the future? Don't ask me why I know that either. But I'm going to tell you, when I did that quantum healing session back on June 17th, the first place that I took when I went under was I was flying over Cerro Gordo. I was flying over the silver mine. That seems like there's some relevance there, because I find that to be a very strange place that they would have taken me for my first entrance into the quantum healing session. So if you haven't gotten yourself any silver, I would do that. It seems like people are trying to make people do that, and I have a little bit, but not as much as I would like to have. So anyway, so I've mentioned that. The other thing that I want to mention is I also heard that over the weekend, Columbus Day, that a lot of the banks were doing a switch over, doing something. And I noticed something. I got paid last Friday, and so I have one account that has checks that I can write, and another account that sometimes I deposit money into, and I write a check from that account to deposit into the other account. So normally I would write the check, it would show up in this other account first, and then it would come out of the account that I wrote the check from about 3 days later. So deposit shows up first, and then the check comes out. This time it was flip-flopped. Now, there was a holiday in the middle of that, but over the weekend, the check came out of my account first before the deposit showed up in the other one. So things are speeding up behind the scenes, and the transfers of money are happening faster, because that is odd. I just find that odd that it would come out of my account that fast, because that has not ever happened before. So that quick transition of the money from, isn't going to take 2 or 3 days. It's going to be a lot speedier. I'm still waiting for the Federal Reserve money to do something wacky, whether it literally crashes or whether we start seeing the money from the bank that people are sending us for wires shows up instead of showing up 2 or 3 hours later, like has been forever, that it literally is instantaneous. That will also tell me that something major has happened. Is there anything else? I talked about the Q phones. I talked about my new coin. I talked about the bank. I think that's it. Again, if you have anything that you want to post, sometimes I can see it, sometimes I can't. If you add a link in there, I did get Trillionaire. I did get your link about Sherry Ray the other day, but it wouldn't show up on the comments. I was able to read that or watch that video. So I don't know if any of you know who Sherry Ray is. It's SHARIRAYE. She's on BitChute. She doesn't have a huge following from the looks of it, but I do hear Mr. Trumptastic, the little Asian guy out in Los Angeles that does some videos. He talks about Sherry Ray and Jason Reed a lot. So I never until recently watched a Sherry Ray video. So anyway, keep doing what you're doing, sharing with everybody. Just try not to get me kicked off the channel, please. And I will talk to you later. Bye.